Why is my dead wife's ring in your bag?
Because someone needed you to blame me before you asked why.
Uncle Daniel said hiding the ring was a game.
Then the game was designed to destroy your father.
Grace recorded everything before she died, inside the ring. Then stay broken enough to never dare open it.
Why is my dead wife's ring in your bag? Because someone needed you to blame me before you asked why. 7 minutes earlier at 11:47 on a rain-soaked Friday night, 7-year-old Ethan Kang stumbled through the glass door of a nearly closed Seattle café, pressed both hands to his stomach, and whispered, "Please don't call my father." Ava Monroe looked past him. Black cars slid along the curb while men in dark suits searched the street. The boy's lips were pale and his knees shook. "You're hungry," Ava said. Ethan nodded, then stared at the steaming pot behind her. "Food makes my chest hurt when people watch me." Ava did not ask questions. She turned off the bright counter light, placed a small bowl of chicken rice soup in the quiet corner, and sat several feet away. No one is watching. One spoon is enough. He took one bite, then another. By the fifth, tears filled his eyes. The cafe door slammed open. Kang Ji-hoon, the Korean CEO whose face covered business magazines across Asia and America, entered with 2 security officers. Rain shone on his coat as fear hardened into anger. "Step away from my son." Ethan grabbed Ava's sleeve. "She helped me." Ji-hoon grabbed the canvas bag beside Ava's chair, searching for anything that explained why his missing child was there. The bag tipped. A silver wedding ring struck the floor and spun beneath the light. Ji-hoon stopped breathing. Inside the band was a crescent-shaped scratch. It was the ring he had placed on his wife Grace's finger 9 years earlier. The ring that disappeared the night she died. He looked at Ava as if she had become a ghost. The accusation from the opening moment now filled the cafe. Ava stared at it. "I have never seen that ring before." Before we go deeper, subscribe, like this video, turn on notifications, and comment what you would do if kindness suddenly made you look guilty. Ji-hoon's cousin and chief financial officer, Daniel Kang, pushed through the doorway. His eyes narrowed at the ring. "I know her," Daniel said. "She worked on our children's nutrition trial. She was fired for stealing confidential files." Ava rose slowly. "I was fired after I reported missing safety records." Daniel gave Ji-hoon a quiet, poisonous look. Grace visited that trial before the accident. The meaning landed at once. Ava had Grace's ring, had worked where Grace investigated, and had been found alone with Ethan. Security moved toward her. Ava did not step back. "You can search my cafe. You can call the police. But do not teach your son that the person who feeds him is dangerous just because a rich man is afraid." "My wife died with this ring missing. And somebody wanted you to find it here," Ava replied. "Ask yourself who benefits before you destroy another innocent person." The police questioned Ava for 3 hours. Cameras gathered outside. By sunrise, her name was trending beside the words thief, kidnapper, and obsessed former employee. Ji-hoon watched the interview recording alone. Ava never begged. She never changed her story. She only repeated one sentence. Someone needed him angry before he became curious. Ethan refused breakfast. At noon, he pushed away lunch. That evening, he finally spoke. "Dad, the soup lady did not take me. I ran because Uncle Daniel said I had to smile for the cameras, even if my stomach hurt." Ji-hoon looked toward Daniel, who stood near the hospital window. Daniel sighed. "The boy is grieving. Don't turn confusion into conspiracy." But Ji-hoon noticed something. Ethan's small fingers were drawing a crescent shape on the blanket, the same shape scratched into Grace's ring. The next morning, Ji-hoon returned to Ava's cafe without security. A brick had shattered the window, and ring thief covered the door. Ava was sweeping glass. "I can pay for this," he said. "You cannot pay for what your accusation did. I did not release your name. You said enough in a room full of people who serve your power." Ji-hoon lowered his eyes. His posture apologized, but Ava did not accept it as payment. "Ethan has not eaten since that night," he said. "He asked for your soup. I am not coming to your house so you can search me again. I was wrong. You were afraid, Ava corrected. Fear explains cruelty. It does not erase it. He placed Grace's ring inside a clear evidence pouch on the table. Under the inner band, almost invisible, were the words Bluebird 712. Ava's face changed. Ji-hoon saw it. You know what that means. Ava looked at the broken window. Grace used the name Bluebird when she contacted me about the trial. She believed someone was changing nutrition data for sick children. I gave her copies of the original logs. 2 days later, I was fired. 3 days after that, she died. Why didn't you tell me? I tried. Daniel's office intercepted every message. The damaged bell moved in the wind. Ji-hoon asked, "What is 712? Ava shook her head. I don't know. But Grace never used numbers without a reason. Before the first truth changes everything, subscribe, like, turn on notifications, and comment whether Ji-hoon deserves Ava's help after accusing her. Ji-hoon cleared Ava's name publicly that afternoon. He told reporters there was no evidence she took Ethan or the ring, and announced an independent trial review. Daniel called him reckless. You are risking the company over a woman you met 2 nights ago. No, Hyun Blaith. I am risking your comfort over questions you avoided for 2 years. At Ava's cafe, Ethan sat in the quiet corner. Ava showed him how to count breaths between bites. Ji-hoon watched from across the room, learning that care did not need control. When Ethan finished half the bowl, he smiled. Then his expression collapsed. Uncle Daniel said hiding the ring was a game. The spoon slipped from Ava's hand. Then the game was designed to destroy your father, Ava said. Ji-hoon crossed the room. Tell me everything. Ethan whispered. He gave it to me at the party. He told me to put it in the nice lady's bag after she gave the food boxes to the servers. Ava remembered delivering soup to the gala kitchen before closing her cafe. Ethan had seen her then. Why her bag? Ji-hoon asked. Ethan's eyes filled with fear. He said bad people pretend to be kind. He said you would understand when you found it. The ring had not led Ji-hoon to Grace's killer. It had been planted to make him destroy Grace's witness. Daniel denied everything. He claimed Ethan had invented the story because he liked Ava. But security footage showed Daniel kneeling beside Ethan near the catering station. His hand held something small and silver. The footage ended 3 seconds before Ethan approached Ava's bag. For the first time, Ji-hoon's power shifted. He removed Daniel from company systems and froze the trial archives. Daniel answered by calling an emergency board meeting and leaking claims that Ji-hoon was unstable, neglecting his son, and being manipulated by a disgraced employee. News vans returned to Ava's cafe. Ava wanted to walk away. She had spent 2 years rebuilding, and Ji-hoon's world could crush it again. Then Ethan left a voice message. Miss Ava, I ate 6 spoons today. Dad counted too loudly, but he tried. Please don't disappear because grown-ups lied. Ava listened twice. That night, she met Ji-hoon on the empty rooftop of Hanul Tower. Seattle glittered below them. I believed evidence that fit my pain, he said. The ring. Your history. Ethan missing. I turned fear into a verdict. Ava folded her arms against the cold. You are used to people forgiving you because you admit the truth beautifully. I am not asking for forgiveness. What are you asking for? A chance to earn the right to be believed. It was not romance yet. It was something harder. Accountability. Ava told him Grace had called her hours before the crash. Grace sounded terrified and said, if anything happens, the Bluebird sings at 7:12. Ava had expected a scheduled email, but none arrived. Ji-hoon looked toward the city clock. Grace read Ethan the same bedtime story every night. The Bluebird opened the 7th door on page 12. They drove to the family home. In Ethan's room, they found the old book. Page 12 showed 7 painted doors. Behind the 7th paper flap was a tiny key card. The card opened a private storage box registered under Grace's American name. Inside was no money. Only a child's drawing, a damaged phone, and a note. The ring is the key. Ava knows why the children were hungry. Ava's hands went cold. I never told Grace that exact phrase. What phrase? The children were hungry. During the trial, several patients lost dangerous weight. The report blamed illness, but Ava believed their supplement had been diluted. The damaged phone contained one locked audio file. The ring was not only jewelry. Beneath its inner lining was a near-field chip holding the encryption key. Ji-hoon placed the ring against the phone. The file opened. Grace's voice filled the room. Ji-hoon, if you hear this, Daniel altered the trial formula and moved the stolen funds through shell clinics. Ava Monroe found the original records. Protect her. Protect Ethan. Daniel knows I copied the files. The recording broke into static, then returned with one final sentence. He tampered with my car. Before the biggest truth is revealed, subscribe, like, turn on notifications, and comment. Would you expose your own family if justice demanded it? Ji-hoon sank to the floor. He had mourned an accident for 2 years. Now Grace named the man he trusted most. Ava knelt nearby but did not touch him. I made Daniel Ethan's guardian in my will, Ji-hoon whispered. I put my son's life in his hands. You did not know. I refused to know. Grace questioned him before she died. I told her family loyalty mattered. Ava's voice softened. Regret is not justice. What you do next is. They copied the recording and sent it to federal investigators. But Daniel had already moved. The lights went out. A security alarm screamed. From downstairs came the sound of breaking glass. Ji-hoon ran toward Ethan's room. The bed was empty. On the pillow lay the silver ring and a message on Ethan's tablet. Withdraw the recording, or the boy disappears like his mother. Ji-hoon's face collapsed, but Ava saw the window locked from inside. No muth. No broken latch. Ethan had not left through it. She replayed the threat. Beneath Daniel's voice was a soft mechanical chime. Your private elevator, Ava said. He recorded this inside the building. Ji-hoon accessed the emergency elevator log. One car had stopped on the abandoned clinical floor at 7:12 p.m. They raced back to Hanul Tower. On the dark clinical floor, Ava found Ethan inside an old observation room. Daniel stood behind him, holding a phone and a folder of forged custody papers. You turned a frightened child into evidence, Ava said. Daniel smiled. No. I turned everyone's weakness into leverage. Yehones grief. Your pride. The boy's hunger. Ethan looked at Ava. I knew you would follow the Bluebird. Daniel had underestimated Ethan, who dropped his Bluebird book outside the elevator as a trail Ava and Ji-hoon would understand. Ji-hoon stepped forward. Grace recorded everything before she died, inside the ring. Daniel's smile thinned. Then stay broken enough to never dare open it. He raised the phone. One message sends documents proving Ava sold Grace the trial files. Another makes it look like you paid her to lie. Ava held his gaze. Send them. Daniel blinked. I spent 2 years being hated for telling the truth, she continued. You cannot threaten me with a life I already survived. Daniel had not planned for this. Ava was no longer protecting her reputation. She was protecting Ethan. Ji-hoon activated the building's emergency broadcast. Grace's recording began playing through every speaker, while investigators listening through his open call entered the floor. Daniel lunged for the control panel. Ethan ducked. Ava pulled him behind her. Ji-hoon blocked Daniel, but did not strike him. You wanted me angry, Ji-hoon said. Angry men make mistakes. Tonight I choose proof. Investigators arrested Daniel with the forged papers, trial records, and threat message in his possession. The phone connected him to shell clinics. Forensics confirmed he altered Grace's car and diverted millions from children's medicine. At the next board meeting, Ji-hoon did not hide behind a statement. He stood before cameras with Ava beside him and admitted that his company had failed families, that he had failed to question power close to him, and that Ava had been punished for protecting children. He resigned as acting chairman during the investigation. Reporters shouted questions. One asked Ava whether she had forgiven him. No, she said. Forgiveness is not a press release. It is a road. He has only started walking. For the first time, Ji-hoon did not look wounded by her answer. He nodded. 3 months later, the old trial funds were recovered. Ava opened the Bluebird Children's Nutrition Center in Seattle. Ji-hoon financed it through a blind trust with no control over her decisions. He worked with investigators, sold personal shares to compensate families, and began therapy with Ethan. He also learned to sit quietly during meals. Some evenings after the center closed, he washed dishes at Ava's café. He brought no cameras. One night, Ava found him repairing the same chair where Ethan had eaten his first bowl of soup. "You know CEOs can hire carpenters," she said. "Former acting chairmen have flexible schedules." She almost smiled. That was nearly a joke. "I have been practicing." He placed Grace's ring on the table in a small wooden box. "Ethan and I are putting this in her memorial. It should not carry Daniel's shadow anymore." Ava touched the box. It carried her courage first. Ji-hoon looked at her. "You taught me that proof can tell us what happened. It cannot tell us who someone is unless we listen." "And what do you hear now?" "A woman who owes me nothing. A woman I would like to know slowly, honestly, and without security searching her bag." Ava laughed, surprising them both. "He did not ask for love." He asked, "May I take you to dinner?" She glanced at the soup pot. "One dinner. No promises." "One dinner," he agreed. 6 months later, Ethan ate at a crowded table without fear. Ava sat on one side. Ji-hoon sat on the other, waiting until Ethan lifted his spoon before lifting his own. After dinner, Ji-hoon walked Ava home in the rain. At her door he stopped. "I am still walking the road," he said. "I know. May I keep walking beside you?" Ava studied the man who had once treated suspicion like certainty, then watched him wait without demanding an answer. She took his hand. The final CTA is for everyone who believes love must be earned. Subscribe, like, turn on notifications, and comment whether Ava was right to make Ji-hoon wait. Justice did not return Grace. It did not erase Ava's humiliation or Ethan's fear. But it ended the lie that powerful people could decide the truth alone. Love did not begin when the Korean CEO found a wedding ring in Ava's bag. It began when he stopped asking what the ring proved and started listening to the woman standing in front of him.